Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Interaction podcast. Hey, what's up? This is your host D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. Hey, what's up? This is D Knight, solo pod today. Sorry it's taking so long to get back to you. I know we've been gone for like a week or so, but the boy's been busy. Busy out here doing his day job. Gotta make these bucks. These bills don't pay themselves. Yeah, I thought I'd do a little something different and maybe try a little Q&A session. Have a little fun today. Keep everybody's spirits up. All my Twitter peoples. You probably have your heads in your hands right now. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe Elon bought the Twitter. Like, is this shit gonna be a flaming dumpster fire? Should I leave? Should I stay? I don't know. I'm planning on sticking around for the time being. I'll stick it out if you will. Maybe we can still do some good. Who knows? We don't know what the future holds, but maybe we can make the most of whatever it is we have right now, right? Considering we only have so few options. Yeah, but anyway, let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter somehow, it's at Black Knight 10K. That's BLACK KNIGHT 10K. Otherwise known as the guy who smokes random shit on the internet. Yeah. But anyway, first off, we have Cat Daddy. That's at Twits Your Thing, who asks, how do you stay positive in the political hellscape we live in? We're constantly treading water against pure evil on the right, and it feels like things will never get better. Don't get me wrong, I'll always vote and vote blue at that, but I'm out of hope. Well, for me personally, I don't know what makes you think that I come across as a very positive person. In fact, I wouldn't say I'm an optimist at all. Not saying that I'm a pessimist either. Somewhere in the middle. I am more of a assess the situation, make a plan, and act accordingly type of guy. Whether things are going in my favor or not. But I guess specifically as it pertains to these upcoming midterms, I would say I'm hopeful in the sense that things will go in our favor, but it's based on data, right? You can look at polling all across the country that says, hey, Democrats are probably somewhere between tied and maybe have a slight lead over Republicans on a generic ballot. But we have early voting data that suggests people are turning out in droves. It's a record turnout so far in the states that do have early voting. And it leans, women and Democrats at the moment. And the one major takeaway that you can get from that is that despite the polling for Republicans to win, they're going to have massive turnout on election day just to match Democrats. So that gives you a sliver of hope to have a little more positivity. There you go. All right, next up we have Doug. That is at Lugster187, Lugster, who asks, will Trump's base turn out when he's not on the ballot? I have no fucking idea, to be honest. So far, like I said, we have record turnout in terms of Democrats voting early. It's going to take record turnout by Republicans on election day if they have a chance of taking the House. And I doubt they'll even manage to muster up enough votes to get the Senate. The problem here is that we don't have any data from past midterm elections that resembles anything remotely close to what we're seeing in these midterms. So it's impossible to predict, man. I don't know, man. You got to talk to guys who do these projections for a living. It's beyond me. All right, next up we have Bam. That's at Brian Doge Miller. BrianDogemiller, who says the Pelosi's are fucking heroes. Amen, bro. All right. So we have We Won't Back Down. Twitter handle at LovesLizards1. Who asks, should I stay on Twitter? I try to fight back against injustice and cruelty, but get so little response, I think I'm wasting my valuable time. Thanks. Yes. With the caveat that you should stay on Twitter for now until we see how things progress under Elon's leadership, or ownership rather. We don't know what the potential fallout will be of Elon's ownership of Twitter. I mean, obviously, of course, in the immediate, it's not going to be good. Like it's already a net negative. I mean, advertisers are threatening to flee. It was like 24 hours with his name on the dotted line. And you're like, oh, there's 10, 12, 20x times more number of posts with like nothing but the N-word, or like slurs against Jewish people, like all this Nazi Ku Klux shit. It's not great, I gotta tell you. But if we leave immediately, while Twitter still has this massive reach and influence, and there's not enough of us to counterbalance the narrative, I mean, I feel like that could do more damage in the long run than good, right? So, my personal opinion, for the time being, stick it out, do what you can, make the most of it, and reevaluate, a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and we'll go from there. All right, at BioPatAtty, that's BioPatAtty, says, F Elon Muskrat, a cartoon waiting to happen. Agreed. Deborah Johnson, that's at FoxyDJ, FoxyDeejay, asks, who do you think the DNC bomber is? Well, there's a lot of speculation going around that the bomber is female based on like gait and physical appearance and whatnot. And obviously the immediate conclusion is it must be Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? The fucking internet troll of internet trolls. I don't think that's it. I mean, I guess anything's possible. I wouldn't put it past her, like fucking, member-elect of Congress setting bombs at the DNC and the RNC. But I personally believe that it is likely someone affiliated with one of the right-wing militias that attacked the Capitol on 1/6, whether that be the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, the 3%ers, all those right-wing nutbags. The guys who actually did the planning in the months before. I would imagine it's someone affiliated with those groups. Can't give you anything more specific than that. Like, hell if I know. It's just a wild shot in the dark. All right, what do we have next? Zypha Forest. Bro, I don't really... is it like some combination of like a xylophone and phosphorus? I don't know what you're doing there. Anyway, he asks, is it part of the Democratic Party brand to avoid having a messaging clearinghouse like conservatives have? Well, sir, the Democratic Party isn't a cult. There's not like one overwhelming ideology or messaging platform for like the left the way there is on the right, because like I said, we're not a fucking cult. Like the Fox Newses of the world and like the right-wing media, they all get to conspire together and make this one, you know, monotone message that they pump out to brainwash the public with. And that works because their audience is like middle-aged white dudes. And I guess their spouses, right? We just don't have anything like that on the left. It's, you know, it's composed of different varying demographics and different groups of people who have different experiences all across the country. There is no like monolithic racial demographic in the Democratic Party for that shit to work. It just isn't. Like, if there was, believe me, someone would have come out with it by now. It's not gonna happen. It's unfortunate. Like, I wish we had that shit. Like, oh, someone to get together and like gamify the whole political landscape in favor of Democrats, so we could just spit out these like copy paste messages and get it to work. But like, unfortunately, the shit is just more complicated than that. Although, with the way media is moving, where in the future, I mean, basically the atomization of the way people consume their content, the fact that there's no monolithic mega culture where we all watch the same, the same TV shows, the same movies, and instead, there's millions of YouTube channels, thousands of popular podcasts, social media platforms. If we get to a point where we have enough diverse thought leaders out there engaged in their own independent media ventures, connecting to their audience in their own unique ways, like that might actually be a way to benefit Democrats more so than the right-wing media complex benefits the right. Anything's possible. Like, that's not a prediction, just saying that's a possibility. Actually, Heidi May has a good response to that, where she says, God-type messaging doesn't work for Dems because we're not a monolith. Every community needs different messaging because they have different life experiences. Talk to your local Dem community to see what messaging works in your area. I mean, it's pretty accurate. Like, even national politics in some ways is still local. Okay, so we have Tom at Motrod1221. That's MOTROD 1221. Asks, is your podcast daily or weekly? Well, sir, it is generally weekly, although we occasionally miss a week. But we often do enough content in 1 week to get you more than one episode per week. So I'd say hit the subscribe button. Just be prepared at any time. Thank you for listening. Jenny G, that's at alt Jenny G1, asked, Phillies or Astros? Well, I don't know if that's who do I want to win or who will win. But I can definitely damn sure guarantee you that even though I don't watch baseball no more, I ain't rooting for the damn Astros. Because they be cheating. Spartan Girl, that's at Susie_Beltari with 2 T's, asks, what's your Halloween costume this year? She says she's going as a Supreme Court Justice. I'm personally planning to dress up as a random black guy. I should fit right in, given that I'm a random black guy. I don't know. Alright, Miss Mitten, that's at Kursky_ here, asks, tomorrow, Michigan or Michigan State? Well, as I'm recording this, today Michigan and Michigan State are playing. There are only 2 good teams in that conference, the Big Ten. That'll be Ohio State and Michigan. So I'm going to have Michigan by a fucking shit ton. Are they playing right now? I guess I could look up the score. Let's see here. Nope, they don't play it until later. But by the time you hear this, I'm sure the game will have been over and Michigan will have won and I will have been proved to be right. Go Jim Harbaugh, I guess. Alright, next up we have at Niles5 who asks, Can Warnock hold his seat? Well, sir, again, based on the overwhelming turnout in early voting, especially in Georgia, I'm going to say yes, he can, and most likely will. Despite all the things you may or may not want to say about Herschel Walker, I don't want to get into that. I just hope that man gets some help. He's clearly going through some shit mentally. I don't want to talk about the man's mental capabilities, but man, I worry, bro. CTE is real. It's real. All these dudes out here playing football, and I watch that shit every weekend. I feel so guilty now that I'm gonna fucking turn into Herschel Walker, bro. I can't. Oh no, I feel so gross. Ugh. Anyway. Alright, Karen Fullerton 2 asks, please describe the correct use of the word Negro. Well, for the most part, if you're white, just generally don't use it. That's pretty self-explanatory. Although there are circumstances where it is appropriate, like if you're reading something where it references the Negro, as in that's on the paper, that's what it said. Like if it's the name of an organization, like the United Negro College Fund or something like that, then that's where the use is appropriate, right? Otherwise, it's just don't. I can do it, you can't. Sorry, them's the rules. All right, we have at Gwenny Thinks, who asks, so we have West Coast Warrior bitch drama between Poole and Green. What say you? Yo, that shit was fucking wild. Like, what? Why is Draymond out here punching dudes in the face? Which is, it's already strange enough because they've eliminated fighting from the NBA just altogether. Like, the fight, it never happens. Like in these games, at least, no one will ever hit another player again in a game with their fist. Like, you can put my name on that because the consequences are so stiff. Because after the Malice in the Palace way back in the day, they was like, oh no, we can't have the black peoples running up into the crowd hitting these fans. Like, no matter how egregious the behavior of the fans were. But this is different because this wasn't in a game. This was like Draymond being Draymond and popping off on his own teammate. Like, what are we doing? Look, Draymond's at an interesting place in his career where he's getting older. He is no longer the physical specimen that he once was, and he is becoming even worse of a player when it comes to at least scoring on offense, right? And Poole is the young guy who wants his money. Draymond is the legacy guy who wants his, last big contract. And tempers flare over this shit, man. Sometimes dudes get out of control. And then you have Draymond, who is just like a character in his own right. Like, that's what you get when you got Draymond on your team. I don't know what to tell you. Expect crazy shit to happen when you put a jersey on Draymond and put him out there on the floor. All right, we have at Ben Jacob Klein, who has best hot sauce. Oh man, it's tough. I will just use a Louisiana because it's available. Right now I have some Uncle Ben's in the cabinet, ready to go for some fried chicken or whatever, put your hot sauce on. But I also love some Cholula. It's probably my favorite. Wait, no, not Uncle Ben, that's rice. Dog, I got Frank's Red Hot. That's what I'm on right now. Admittedly, a lesser version of the Cholula, but it's got a decent flavor. It's not that it tastes bad, it's different. It's not the same. All right, what do we have here next? At BGLTD Select asks, will Elon bomb worse than North Korea? Well, sir, I hope North Korea don't have them kind of bombs. Considering Elon just spent $30 billion more on Twitter than it was worth. Like he instantly signed the deal and lost $30 billion. It's like when you roll a new car off the lot except like you instantly put 100,000 miles on it when you turn the corner. Like, that's what Elon did. So I would call that in itself a bomb. And then apparently, like, part of his purchase agreement with Twitter, it didn't even include like a non-compete clause with like fucking Jack Dorsey, who was out here starting his own new shit. So if Elon makes some decisions that tanks, Twitter's Twitter's user base, and they all migrate to another platform, possibly one started by Jack himself, like it would bomb even for like good God, this dude, man, not the genius that we gave him credit for, huh? Didn't think this one through. All right, next up we have at Maya J 1973, who asks, what do you think is Musk's real purpose for buying Twitter? Well, Elon is friends with a bunch of right-wing nutbags like Jack Posobiec and that crew. And those guys' propaganda that they use on their fucking dumbass cult followers worked on Elon. They're like, oh, they build him up, and you can be a warrior for the right, for free speech, and blah, 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 and you can be the man. Right, and then here he is, being all rash and shit, not thinking things through, not considering the potential implications and consequences of your actions. Being a right-wing warrior sounds all great and shit until it costs you like $100 billion in net worth. You fucking moron. But yeah, I mean, he basically bought the thing that opened it up to the right. Good luck with that, buddy. Good luck. All right. Let's see. We have at Brandon E. Miller, who says, when you see an old white lady like me, do you automatically think, eek, a MAGA? Well, I live in Tennessee and have my whole life. So I'm totally aware that there's like a 50-50 shot that like you might either fly a Confederate flag at home or you might like love you some black dudes. Like there's like it's literally a coin toss. Like who knows? Right? But one thing I think that's different about being here in the South and, well, we'll say other places that have a notorious record of racism is that here, people remember that we fought a war for that shit, right? And we ain't going back. And people died and lost their lives. And they ain't forgot, and we ain't either. So yeah, they keep it cordial because they know we'll beat some ass. We got to. Okay. At 1EARH_Midas asks, does Beto have a shot? Out there in Texas with all my exes on some George Strait shit. And my co-host Ty Ross, she out there. Shout out to Ty. Does Beto have a shot? Well, if things are all fair, absolutely. But because it's Texas, I don't know, man. We got like rumors out here of like the voting machines flipping votes from Beto to Abbott as far as the early voting is concerned. I mean, there's some shenanigans and some fuckery going on with that. Like, I don't know how massive the problem is, but like whatever the slimmest of margins are, if it's close, probably not. He's going to have to either blow Abbott out of the water or they'll find a way to steal this shit, man. I think that was the game plan once they saw how 2020 went. It's like, oh, let's accuse the left of, rigging the voting machines to flip votes. And then they, because everything is projection with these fellows. Maybe that was the plan in Texas. I don't know. Fingers crossed. Hoping for the best. The boy is dope. Hope he pulls it off. Alright, we have at Grumpy Greensman, who asks, are the Minnesota Vikings for real or a smoke and mirror show with an epic second half collapse coming? Well, let's pull up their schedule real quick. For one, they're currently 5-1. next 6 games or so, they play the Cardinals, the Commandos, the Bills, the Cowboys, the Patriots, the Jets, the Lions. You seen Kirk Cousins play. Regardless of what you think of those other teams and looking at their records, do you think Kirk Cousins is good? Do you think he gonna go out here and win 10, 11, 12 games this season? Do you think he gonna lead you through the playoffs to the Super Bowl? Because I don't. I have no evidence to I have no evidence, at least as far as the past is concerned, to support the idea that Kirk Cousins will do anything but win you 10 games in the regular season and then immediately lose in playoffs. That's what I got for you. Cook is dope. Madison is dope. Your defense is alright. And also you relying on Kirk Cousins. And that's not to say that Kirk Cousins is terrible, because that's not what it is. It's just like you got like 15 other dudes in the league that are basically Kirk Cousins, and all those teams are mediocre. So there you go. Do I think they're for real? No. I just think they're ochre. I think we're going to cut it right there. Hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment letting me know if you like this new format. Maybe we'll do this, ask me anything a little more often. Just bonus content just for you guys. Stay tuned for part 2.